When he entered the temple, the chief priests and the elders of the people came to him as he was teaching and said, "By what authority are you doing these things, and who gave you this authority?" Jesus said to them, "I will also ask you one question. If you tell me the answer, then I will tell you by what authority I do these things. Did the baptism of John come from heaven, or was it of human origin?" And they argued with one another. "If we say, 'From heaven,' he will say to us, 'Why then did you not believe him?' But if we say, 'Of human origin,' we are afraid of the crowd, for all regard John as a prophet." So they answered Jesus, "We do not know." And he said to them, "Neither will I tell you by what authority I am doing these things."
Okay, it's not quite the mastermind chair. In fact, if it was, and I was up in front of current host Clive Myrie, something tells me I wouldn't be feeling quite as relaxed as I am now. The chair, the spotlight, the audience, the questions. Questions. Not only did Jesus have to face many of them, but he was also the master of response, often, as is the case here, in the form of another question. Here, well, we're met with a familiar situation, albeit a notable one, because this is the moment that Jesus enters the temple for the last time. He's teaching, and not unusually when he spoke, people listened. It's no surprise then that the chief priests and the elders, the Pharisees, they clocked this. They, after all, were supposed to be the ones who taught with authority. And here they are, their authority being challenged on their own turf. So cue question one, by what authority are you doing these things, and who gave you this authority? It may be a new question, but Matthew has been sowing the seeds on the authority of Jesus for some time. In chapter 7, verse 29, "Now when Jesus had finished saying these words, the crowds were astounded at his teaching, for he taught them as one having authority and not as their scribes." We could go to chapter 8, verses 8 to 9. The Roman centurion says to him, "Lord, I am not worthy to have you come under my roof, but only speak the word and my servant will be healed, for I am also a man under authority." Chapter 9, verse 8. When he heals and forgives a man who can't walk. When the crowd saw it, they were filled with awe, and they glorified God who had given such authority to human beings. So we already have some insider information on the answer, but the Pharisees clearly didn't, because they still had to ask the question, which is immediately met with a question from Jesus. And already there's a trade-off happening. I'll answer your question if you can answer me this one. Did the baptism of John come from heaven, or was it of human origin? What happens next is like one of those moments when a group of people are sitting in a pub quiz trying to remember who succeeded Abraham Lincoln as President of the United States of America. You've got people sitting there going, "Well, I think it's Cleveland, or it could be Garfield." Someone else is saying, no, I think it's Roosevelt. No, that's way off. It could have been Johnson. Anyway, it's clear as a result of this argument that the religious leaders realised just how smart Jesus' question was to them. By mentioning John the Baptist, Jesus evokes the picture of a stream of prophets from Israel's history. These bearers of God's word, often rejected, sometimes, as was the case with John the Baptist, even killed. And in doing this, Jesus identifies himself with all these prophets, positioning himself as having God-given authority, at the same time as putting them in a quandary as to how they answer the question. We don't know, is their answer. If in this chair, they might have said pass, opting not to get it wrong rather than to speak truth. A subtle difference, but an important one. Did you notice as well that their answer is influenced by what the crowd might think? A definite pointer from Matthew that the crowd will once again hold sway as Jesus' fate is decided. Back to the present though, and Jesus responds in kind. If you can't answer me, neither will I answer you. Through his clever response, Jesus has silenced the religious leaders. At least for now.